We all know that Frieren has become a phenomenon during the last 3 years. Some say it's goated, like me, and some say it's overrated, like you. My honest opinion is it's really a one of its kind, and it's the definition of consistency. And believe me, I suggested this anime to both anime watchers and non-anime watchers, and both groups liked it. And I don't have an Excel table really showing these results, so you need to rely on the good old trust me bro. Season 2 of Frieren picks up right after the end of Season 1 with the Northern Travels arc, but this time the first part of the season feels a little bit like a filler, but it's still filled with some cool story plot points. We learn that the North is pretty brutal with all the dangers, with all the monsters and with all the demons. And really having demons and dragons running around really feels like we went from the starting zone in World of Warcraft at level 1 to the end like raid zone with the highest level possible in the span of 5 minutes. But this time the story focuses more on the trio itself and their relationships and their bonding and how they evolve as a group. We get to see Stark's and Fern's first date, which was pretty awkward, but in the end it was really cute, and really this looks like my regular dating experience, so yeah. We also get an introduction to the different factions and the different people living in the Northern Plateau, and apparently people here are just used to dying and to the dangers of the region, because when Frieren asks them why they just don't relocate, they reply with, because it's our home. Cool bro, I guess I'll just die. Now the second part is where the more interesting stuff happens, and it adapts basically the Divine Revolt arc, where the trio is reunited with the proctor from the first class mage exam called Genau, and also Methode, who was a participant during the first class mage exam. And apparently she likes to pet little girls, or I guess anything that is really cute. So she's definitely not gonna pet any of us. They are asked to kill a demon who is basically destroying city after city in the region. And here we get to witness something really cool. We see Stark fighting with Genau together, which is a first. And believe me, Genau is like super freaking cool. Dude has two things. He has enormous black wings and he has a huge attitude. The fight is pretty cool. It spans over multiple episodes. We see some back and forth fighting, also some sneaky tactics from the demons, but ultimately our protagonists start losing until Stark comes in clutch with his iron resolve taken from his master Eisen. Now the fight has also a second part, which is the fight with Fern and Methode and Frieren, but Frieren in this fight is basically just a watcher, and this is something I really like, because she even said that she wants Fern to grow. Because of this, she cannot always like save her and always do all the heavy lifting, so she's basically just watching the whole fight, and Fern and Methode are fighting, and they are fighting basically two other demons which are subordinates of General Revolt. And I highly agree with Frieren's approach, because this is the era of humans, as mentioned also during season 1, and if they are unable to fight these demons by themselves, they wouldn't be able to improve. And so the ending of the series is pretty cool. We get hinted about the next arc, which is the Golden City arc, which is one of the most popular ones. We also see Denken arriving, which he will be also part of this, and the animation is still pretty good, same as season 1. We see the flashbacks of the old like hero party, and with all the suspense, with all the moments, and the fluidness during the fighting sequences is absolutely gorgeous. And given the fact Frieren is really not focused on the fighting, it's really about the philosophy of time and venturing, like the fights are super cool and they're really well made as well. So I'm really surprised that it's not, let's say, primary focus, but it's super well executed. And so story-wise we didn't really progress a lot, but you need to keep in mind it was just 10 episodes, and maybe I understand the reasoning behind that the anime material is catching up to the source material, and so they don't have that much to work with, and so they wanted to focus really on this part. And also keep in mind we were really spoiled, because having 28 episodes in the first season was really a blessing. And you know what is coming next. It's time for the judging part, and let's start with some pros. The first pro is definitely identity. Frieren's season 1 really started with there was a lot of action, there was a lot of those flashbacks. It really kind of showed people that it can do everything. It can do good emotional moments, it can do some really funny moments, it can do a lot of action. But in this season, we are more focused really on the group and on the flashbacks and really on the more emotional part of Frieren, which is the identity of this. We still get a bit of action, but not that much. And so that's why a lot of people have some issues with season 2 and say it's very slow, which I completely understand, and I also feel sometimes that it was a bit fillery. Second con is definitely the animation, and I really mean it. I think the fights are super fluid, the art is beautiful, I think they're really trying to be as faithful as possible to the source material, and I really love how they can switch from a really calm animation and calm like moments with the directing to super fast-paced ones and really get into action and adapt everything to it. Now, of course, we talk about the pros, now we need to talk about the cons. Pacing is definitely one of the cons, and that's because the first part was a bit slower, which was expected, but also the second part was really slower, which was not supposed to be slower. And what happened is that in the anime they added some really dragged out scenes, because I think they didn't want to start the Golden City arc really until next season. So that's why they tried to really stretch it out as possible also in the second part. And so the Divine Revolt arc was really supposed to be a really fast-paced, quick arc where they basically fight the General Revolt. And what they did in the anime is basically they turned this into like a mystery around the demon powers and around this, and with some unneeded cliffhangers. And the second con is definitely the episode count. I understand the decision why they did a 10 episode series, but waiting 2 years for 10 episodes, and I really believe this could have been handled in so many different ways. Like, for example, they could have done first season for 24 episodes, they could push part of the first season into the second season, and I think it would look even smoother. Or option number 2, they could maybe made the Divine Revolt arc pretty quick as it was supposed to be, and maybe skip some filler episodes and really start already with the Golden City arc, maybe with some couple of episodes, kind of like a teaser into it, and really start going. But enough about the cons, now we move to the ratings. Animation, 9 out of 10. Story, 9 out of 10. Pacing, 7 out of 10. Characters and character development, 9 out of 10. Music, 9 out of 10. And rewatch value, 8 out of 10. And so my final verdict for Frieren Season 2 is 9 out of 10. I'm a huge Frieren fan, and I believe Season 1 was really 10 out of 10. It was exceptional in everything it did. Story, music, animation, characters, everything. It was directing, like execution, everything. So I think Season 1 was really perfect. And so I think the anime-only additions were not really my cup of coffee. And so Frieren continues to dominate all the anime letters, all the anime discussions. It has a lot of people who love it, a lot of people who hate it. But I think Frieren sets up the bar really, really high for other anime titles. And if all goes well, I think the Golden City arc will be one of the best, if not the best so far. There will be a lot of interesting plot points. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think we have a lot to be excited for. But more on that in maybe Frieren Season 3 review once it comes out. If you made it this far, I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you liked it, please give a like. If you want to stay updated when a new video is out, then definitely consider subscribing. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and see you in the next review.